The United States has a complex and often contentious relationship with firearms. This relationship is not just a modern phenomenon, but has roots that stretch back to the very inception of the nation. Guns are deeply ingrained in the nation's history, culture, and identity. They are more than just tools, they are symbols of freedom, power, and self-reliance. They are woven into the fabric of the country's founding narrative. The right to bear arms was enshrined in the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, reflecting the importance placed on firearms by the nation's founders. From the earliest days of colonial settlement to the fight for independence, guns have played a pivotal role. They were essential for hunting, protection, and as a means of asserting independence from colonial powers. This legacy continues to shape the national dialogue on gun ownership. The debate over gun rights versus gun control is a persistent and polarizing issue in American society. However, this deep-seated connection to firearms is not without its challenges. The prevalence of guns has led to significant issues, including high rates of gun violence and mass shootings. The United States grapples with levels of gun violence unseen in other developed nations. This violence has a profound impact on communities and families, leaving a trail of grief and loss. Mass shootings in particular spark national outrage and reignite the debate over gun control. Each tragic event brings renewed calls for stricter gun laws and measures to prevent future incidents. The Second Amendment, guaranteeing the right to bear arms, is fiercely defended by one side and questioned by the other. This constitutional right is at the heart of the debate, with interpretations varying widely. This divide is not merely a legal or political one, it cuts to the core of American identity. For many, the right to own a gun is synonymous with personal freedom and autonomy. Gun rights advocates view firearm ownership as fundamental to liberty and self-reliance. They argue that an armed populace is a safeguard against tyranny and oppression. They see it as a bulwark against tyranny and a guarantee of personal safety. For them, the ability to defend oneself and one's family is a fundamental right that should not be infringed upon. On the other hand, gun control proponents argue that stricter regulations are essential to curbing gun violence and saving lives. They believe that common-sense measures can reduce the number of deaths and injuries caused by firearms. They point to the human toll of shootings as evidence of the need for change. The stories of survivors and the memories of those lost serve as powerful reminders of the consequences of inaction. This essay will delve into the multifaceted world of American gun culture. It will explore the historical forces that shape this relationship, examine the arguments of both sides, and analyze the challenges of finding common ground in a nation deeply divided. By understanding the roots of this issue and the perspectives of those involved, we can better appreciate the complexities and work towards solutions that respect both the nation's heritage and the need for safety and security in modern society. The story of guns in America begins with the earliest European settlers. Firearms were essential tools for survival in the New World. They were used for hunting, defense against wildlife, and conflicts with Native Americans. The right to bear arms was not just a philosophical concept, it was a practical necessity. As the colonies grew, so too did the importance of militias. These citizen armies, equipped with their own firearms, played a crucial role in the American Revolution. The Second Amendment, ratified in 1791, enshrined the right to bear arms in the Constitution. It was intended to ensure the readiness of these militias and prevent the government from disarming its citizens. Westward expansion further cemented the gun's place in American culture. Pioneers ventured into the frontier, relying on their rifles for sustenance and protection. The image of the rugged individualist, armed and self-reliant, became a defining symbol of the American spirit. This era also saw the rise of gun manufacturers like Colt and Remington, laying the foundation for the nation's firearms industry. By the end of the 19th century, guns were deeply embedded in the American psyche. They were tools, symbols of freedom, and instruments of both progress and violence. This complex legacy would continue to shape the nation's relationship with firearms in the century to come. The 20th century witnessed significant shifts in America's gun culture, a period marked by profound changes in societal attitudes and legislative actions. The rise of urbanization, industrialization, and organized crime led to growing concerns about gun violence. As cities expanded and industries grew, so did the complexities of maintaining public order and safety. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929, where gangsters used Thompson submachine guns, shocked the nation and spurred calls for regulation. This brutal event highlighted the deadly potential of firearms in the hands of criminals and underscored the need for stricter controls. In response to these concerns, the first major federal gun control laws were enacted. These laws aimed to curb the proliferation of dangerous weapons and reduce the threat posed by armed criminals. The National Firearms Act of 1934 imposed taxes and registration requirements on certain types of firearms, like machine guns and sawed-off shotguns. This legislation marked a significant step in the federal government's efforts to regulate firearms and enhance public safety. The Gun Control Act of 1968 followed, prohibiting certain individuals, such as felons and the mentally ill, from possessing firearms. This act was a response to the assassinations of prominent figures like John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr., and Robert F. Kennedy, which had shocked the nation and intensified the call for more comprehensive gun control measures. Meanwhile, the National Rifle Association, NRA, transformed from an organization focused on marksmanship and gun safety into a powerful political lobbying force. Originally established to promote shooting sports and firearm safety, the NRA's role evolved significantly over the decades. Initially supportive of some gun control measures, the NRA shifted towards a staunch defense of gun rights, arguing that any restriction on gun ownership was an infringement on the Second Amendment. This shift reflected a broader cultural and political movement that emphasized individual freedoms and limited government intervention. The late 20th century saw a surge in gun ownership alongside a decline in violent crime rates. This paradoxical trend fueled debates about the effectiveness of gun control laws and the true impact of widespread firearm ownership on public safety. This period also witnessed a number of high-profile mass shootings, including Columbine High School in 1999, which reignited the debate over gun control. The tragic events at Columbine brought national attention to the issue of gun violence in schools and the need for preventive measures. The assault weapons ban, enacted in 1994 and expired in 2004, became a focal point of this debate. The ban's expiration sparked renewed discussions about the regulation of semi-automatic firearms and the balance between individual rights and collective security. As the 20th century drew to a close, America's relationship with guns remained as complex as ever. The interplay between cultural values, political ideologies, and public safety concerns continued to shape the national discourse on gun rights and regulations. The stage was set for the ongoing struggle to balance individual rights with public safety in the 21st century. As new challenges and opportunities emerged, the debate over gun control and gun rights persisted, reflecting the enduring complexities of this critical issue in American society. defined